Hi guys, I'm Sam. Welcome back to my channel, The Unity of Life. So in the last video we looked at breeding dogs, and specifically we looked at some breeding problems and things that could go wrong. So today we're going to be looking at farm animals. This does include horses, and we're just going to go through the different types of reproduction technologies that are out there, that are used on them. So we've got cows, sheep, and one about horse. So let's get into it. Okay, so if we have things like, so this is biotechnology, and this is for infertility treatments, specifically for cows. So there's many different things that you can use. So there's like artificial insemination, which we will talk into some more details. Actually, we'll talk about that now. So this is a process where the semen is collected from a bull, and there are two different ways in which this can be done. So one way is to introduce the bull to a dummy cow, so it smells like a cow in heat. And he'll then obviously mate with the dummy, and you'll be able to collect the sperm. But you can also put the male's penis into a stimulator that looks a bit like an artificial vagina, and you can collect semen that way. So, and then once you've obviously got that, you'll have collected. You might not necessarily have even collected eggs to be able to fertilise them in the lab. What seems to happen is that you can, once you've got your semen samples, you can freeze them. But mainly a vet will have it, and they'll inject it straight into the cow's cervix or uterus, and hoping that she is going to become pregnant. But you can also do things like freezing of eggs, into the introduction of multiple ovulation, so embryo transfer, in vitro fertilization. So yeah, or you could even do some cloning, which happens in sheep as well. So let's talk about cloning. You may have heard of Dolly the sheep. So cloning is very it's very interesting. It's very difficult to get your head around. So let's talk about Dolly. So Dolly was a sheep that was the first mammal to be able to be cloned from an adult cell. So a clone has the same sequence of DNA, making the offspring and parent genetically identical. So the cloning occurs in nature all the time. So one of the most common examples are starfish and bacteria that reproduce asexually, so they produce clones. So Dolly was produced after 277 attempts of cloning an adult cell. The scientists took the udder cell of a 6-year-old thin Dornish white sheep. The scientists needed to find a way to keep the udder cells alive but stop it from growing, which was accomplished by altering the fluid in which the cells were being kept. So next they collected an unfertilised egg cell from a Scottish black-faced ewe and removed the nucleus from the egg cell. So the nucleus is where all the genetic information is. The scientists then injected the nucleus from the udder cells into the egg and fused them together, employing electrical pulses. And after that, the scientists monitored the cells for a few days to see if the embryo would develop on its own. When it occurred, they then implanted the embryo into a surrogate, who was another Scottish black-faced ewe. So that was how cloning can work. So we've also got a case where farmers can artificially introduce a cow into heat or into estrus, And this can obviously help the farmer to breed quicker. And especially she's like missed the cycle. I don't want to go too much into farming because I know there's a lot of ethical issues that go into farming, especially with breeding. So let's have a look at what the advantages and disadvantages are for using a bull, a real bull, to breed from. So the advantages are it takes care of the heat observation and insemination. The bull may be owned by the farm already, and will incidentally manage to get some of the cows and calf. The disadvantages of using a bull is that it can be dangerous to not only people but other livestock, lower genetic value than artificial bulls, risk of calving problems, may become temporarily infertile because he's mated with too many cows. Extra follicles required and extra work. The calving date's is basically a lottery. You don't know when it's going to come. You've only got a rough estimate. Transmission of diseases and infections. And in large groups, the bull may not be able to serve all of them all the cows in heat. So let's have a look at horses. So superovulation in horses. Superovulation is a process that induces a mare to ovulate multiple times. So she's got lots of eggs. So this means selected females can produce more foals. Breeding seasons for horses is usually from February to July. Even every 21 days during this season, a mare will naturally ovulate one egg, leaving the breeder with up to 6 to 8 opportunities to get her pregnant. Superovulation is designed to make the mare ovulate more than one egg during the 21 cycle, thus increasing the chances of her eggs to become fertilized. However, it is very, very, extremely rare for horses to have twins. If they do get pregnant with twins, they do lose them quite a lot of the time. So it's very rare that they give birth to twins. However, it does happen. So the mare produces more eggs with superovulation, meaning more than one can be fertilized. The mare cannot normally carry more than one foal to full term at any one time. This leaves the breeder with the opportunity to collect fertilized eggs from the mare, leaving one behind and inserting the other fertilized eggs into other mares that maybe are infertile, so they still have foals. Then we have things like embryo transplants. And this is mainly done for UK cattle, but can be used on pigs as well and horses. So the embryo transfer is a technique in which an embryo is removed from the mare's womb, so the biological mother, and then it's replaced into a surrogate's womb, and she'll be the one that will carry it till full term and give birth to it. So let's have a look at some of these things they understand the principles of animal breeding using reproductive technology in cows. So breed development and improvements. So this is something that people are always trying to do. Unfortunately, it's maybe not specific for the health of the animal, especially when it comes to cows. It could be, we want you to breed so you'll produce more milk, or you'll get fatter and you're going to produce more meat in the farm industry. So that's why I don't want to be covering too much about it, because I know there's a huge fight going on between animal rights activists and farmers at the moment. So they're basically the reasons why. And they all breed cows. So let's have a look. The breeding development is occurring in a number of breeds. The main ones being You've got your black and white ones and your Holsters, and we'll be looking at these Holsteins. So they weigh about 1,500 pounds when they're fully grown. That's really heavy, and they have a production life up to 6 years. So this cow breed was originally bred and developed to produce as much milk as possible with little feed. Obviously, for them to produce milk, they have to be calved, so they have to be pregnant all the time, and they go through artificial insemination quite often enough, and this is basically to try and give the cows the best genetics as possible. And the male cows that are produced are usually for beef, because you're not going to get milk from them. So some of the improvements is that careful selection of cows, especially with dairy cattle. Some farmers are looking for a wide and high udders on the cow. It all depends on what the farmer is looking for and what the aesthetics of the cow is going to be. And that's just to produce more milk at the end of the day. Yeah, they don't have a very good life. Cows at all. But like I said, I don't want to be going too much into the farming industry, because A, I'm not a farmer, and B, there's a lot going on with farms, and you know, there's a few ethical issues, whereas e.g. cows that produce milk, they'll are constantly pregnant and giving birth, and the calf will stay with them for so long, but they aren't always allowed to suckle, and they'll be taken away from them so then we can have milk. And sometimes I think they get hand-raised a lot, calves, so they'll have the colostrum, and then after that they're being hand-raised and taken from their mum. I know this is a huge issue, and it is one of the reasons why many people choose to be vegan, and I totally understand and get it, because it's not a nice thought at all, to think that this milk that you're pouring on your cereal or having in your tea or whatever is you know, at the cost of a young calf, and that's going to upset the calf's development as well. So it's a really good job that today's age we do have a lot of varieties of different milks, like soya and lots of different nut milks like coconut milk and oat milk and almond milk and all those wonderful different types. So there's a lot more variety. And that will help the calves, obviously, but it's a tricky situation to be in, really, because you know, it's a farmer's livelihood at the end of the day. But when you're thinking about the animal and the poor little calf, there's obviously a few ethical issues, so it's really hard to find that balance, because if you stop drinking cow's milk, then yeah, someone's going to suffer because it's their livelihood and they're not getting paid, but it's more beneficial for the calf. So it's a tough one, really. Something is going to suffer either way. Nobody's found out a way on which the farmers could still have an income, and the calves can still be with the mum and have a happy normal development. So yeah, there's a lot of ethical issues, and the farming industry, they still have a bit to go in improving their welfare standards. However, their welfare standards have improved a lot over recent years as well. So I'm going to end this video here, because like I said, it's not something that I want to go too much into. So if you liked any of my content so far, click on my face down here. That means you've subscribed, and don't forget to click that notification bell, and you'll be notified every Wednesday and Saturday when I upload a video. Any other animal content will be in the playlist down here. And don't forget to share this with all your friends if you've liked it. It's probably not my best video, but hey. And also don't forget to comment. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.